Well, how many piercings do you think you've done now?
I think I've stopped counting after 1,000.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
The people that haven't heard about lab-grown diamonds or really don't know what they are really stuck in an old mindset.
And you know what? This is one of those product categories where monthly the numbers are changing.
Laboratory-grown diamond or a created diamond is chemically, physically, optically, atomically the same as the diamond mined from the earth.
Well, at Lark Berry, we don't really only offer just a piercing. We offer the whole experience. We have different experiences for different type of parties. And I mentioned the word parties. So we want to make it fun. We want to make it like a day out for you. If you book in advance and you come with your friends, we can close the store for you. We can offer refreshments. We can, upgrade your package. So you make a day of it. And it's really fun for a special occasion or even like gathering with your girlfriends. The experiences start from 45 minutes up to an hour and 15 minutes. And that will vary depending on how many people are coming in. So it's not your 10 minutes in and out, coming for a piercing, leaving with a small, a bottle of salt water, and that's your aftercare package. We do spend a lot of time before we pierce. Sometimes the consultation takes longer, but that makes the customer feel very special. It's a very personalized experience. And the luxury part of it is the pieces we pierce with, and we also offer styling. We don't offer just a piercing. We're not a piercing studio. We offer this complimentary service when you choose a lovely piece from our piercing range.
Well, it must be fun. I imagine it's fun for you to, when someone does come in and obviously knows they want a piercing but doesn't seem to know exactly what they want. I've seen you, give style tips and advice.
Yes. Curating an ear or styling an ear is something that I really enjoy. I need to see the ear first in order for me to, offer the best styles. And it's usually a mix of hoops or studs. I can do a stack only with little labrets. Some people like more dainty piercings. Some people like, bigger pieces. This is where, when we do the consultations, I'm asking questions to understand the personality, what's the style of the customer, so I can advise them the best way possible. Some people like more classic ear stacks with clear stones, with diamonds, white sapphires. Some people like more colorful piercings. And to be honest, I never do the same stack twice because we have a different variety of hoops and labrets, and we can add charms. It's literally the sky's the limit of what you can do in terms of ear styling.
There's a lot that goes into an ear piercing, or piercings if you decide to really stack your ear. And if we're talking fine piercings in 14 karat gold with over 100 possible pieces to choose from, there's even more to consider. This is Lark Berry's world of fine 14 karat gold piercings. They call it a luxury piercing experience, as in not some cheap starter stud from a shopping mall, unceremoniously punched in with a piercing gun. This is a true pampering sesh with Svet, a seasoned pro. She's Lark Berry's lead piercer and style expert. She has over 1,000 piercing customers. She's helped some of these customers complement their style with a new accessory. Others she's even helped find a brand new style game, inspired by new piercing jewelry that they love. So Svet gets asked to do interviews all the time with top fashion magazines and websites like Glamour, Elle, and Vogue, and I've noticed they all ask a lot of similar questions. The reason being, people want to know things like, can I get multiple piercings at once? What's the pain level on a conch piercing? For a flat piercing? And what about a helix piercing? If I get this or that hoop, stud, or crescent labret, will it work with my style? What's the healing and aftercare like? Oh, and by the way, ears are not twins. What's that mean? Well, Svet was there to tell me, starting with talking me through an experience she had. doing a flat piercing. That's a cartilage piercing, located on the flat area below the ear's upper outer rim. Multiple flat piercings allow you to, for instance, stud the area with stars, which you could do with Svet to lean into something like the ear constellation trend and flat piercings. It's very fashionable right now. But what if someone barely has a flat area of their ear to pierce? This is the type of challenge that Svet faces every day. It's interesting, people, how different, I guess you're looking at ears all day sometimes, and you're noticing how different people's ears are from one to another. Does anyone ever come in and they're really passionate about a flat piercing, and as you said, it turns out they don't have a flat?
Yes.
So you have to break the bad news to them.
Ears are not twins. They're sisters, so they don't look identical. Some people don't really have that area very flat, although it's called a flat. I need to see the ear, and I will advise you if you can get your piercing done. I recently had a lady. She wanted a double piercing on the flat, and her flat wasn't flat at all. So it was really tricky to do the placement on both studs. So I had to decide. One was larger than the other one, so I had to decide which one to go where, so it actually goes with the shape of her cartilage on that area. And it took me a little bit longer, to decide where to place it, because placing is probably the most important part of your piercing experience, to make sure we place it in the right spot so you love it. I always say you have to love it. You have to look at it all your life. So you have to tell me, yes, that's perfect. Because for me, I can change the dot that I'm doing before the piercing at any point. And I do say that. Don't feel bad to tell me, I usually give options. I do small dots and I say I can do it here, 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 or there, and we decide. And
from a 1 to 10, what would you say most people rate the flat piercings in general on that pain scale?
I usually get a scale of 5 to 6, very rarely 6.
Now, just in case you're already getting curious or even squeamish about piercing methods, pain, and healing, not to worry, because as I learned, you're in good hands with Svet concerning all of the above. In fact, you're in such good hands that Svet actually encourages to get multiple piercings, if that's what you're looking to do. Many customers are. To really kick your style game up a notch, Svet offers an all-around unique, luxurious piercing experience. I mean, for one thing, I had thought ear piercings were done with piercing guns. Many places do use those. But Svet's piercing experience at Lark Berry is different. She uses a new, fresh needle every time, per piercing, even if it's on the same customer, receiving multiple ear piercings in one session. Which, not to worry, the body can handle healing, but just don't get too many at once.
The body can heal up to 4 piercing at the time. However, I wouldn't pierce 2 cartilages, especially helix, on the same session, just because you cannot sleep if I pierce both of your helixes on the same day. However, with low piercings, I can do 4, and we can split them on both sides. That this is not going to affect your sleeping habits. More than 4 piercing, I don't recommend. It's just you need to give a chance to your body to heal. This is a procedure with a needle, so you need to, understand that the body, that's a shock for your body, so the body needs to react to it. After the first piercing, you will literally run on adrenaline, so you're not gonna feel as much pain. And you might think, oh, that's, I can do more than 4. However, after a couple of hours, that will hit you. The pain level might increase if you do more than 4 piercing. With the gun, the actual piercing cannot be done as precise as when you do it with a needle.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of pressure, and you just imagine you get pierced sometimes with the actual earring, which is not as sharp. So you will pierce with a stud that is not so sharp, and that will go through your ear just because of the pressure that is coming from the gun. So that is a huge stress for your ear. With the needle, it's a disposable needle. Each piercing, even if it's on the same person, each piercing is done with a fresh needle. Everything is sterilized. We open everything in front of the customer, including the earrings, the needle, the tools. Every single tool is disposable. I always show the customer that I'm opening the tools in front of them, just to make sure they understand that, cleaning is really to high standards in our piercing area.
I felt you flinch there at the mention of a needle. Has it been a while maybe since you've had a piercing? Or will your next be your first? Svet only uses needles, whether it's a standard lobe piercing, a flat piercing, a helix piercing, and that's a piercing located in the upper cartilage area. Or a conch piercing, that's also the upper ear cartilage area, but done on the upper or lower concha part of your ear. Svet uses needles for all of them. And not to worry, I watched some piercings in action this week on all possible ear locations, and the customers barely even seem to notice any pain during the puncturing. Svet's there to help you through it all. And pick what works best for you. Lab-grown diamonds, sapphires, emeralds, and other gemstones in 14-karat yellow, white, or rose gold, or something more offbeat like black rhodium. Keep it classic with a simple diamond, or go for a hip, modern, edgy new style. As Lark Berry says, curate your ear and be the ear envy of your friends. And you're encouraged to book an appointment as things can get busy. You might hear all the keyboards clacking away in the background during this interview. Svet only had about 30 free minutes in the busy Lark Berry office to do this interview. But she accepts walk-ins as well, time permitting. Feel free to drop in the shop if you're in the Marylebone, London area, where Lark Berry's flagship store is located. It's just steps from Selfridges. And the process to get started is simple. You just fill out a basic consent form, choose your pieces right away if you know what you want. The piercing or piercings itself goes fast, and then you're out the door as soon as you need to be with a new look. Or maybe you're sure you want a piercing but unsure about what piece you want, or even where exactly to get pierced on your ear. In those cases, Svet has time for you to help you find the perfect look. And feel free to talk style afterwards while you enjoy complimentary refreshments. You're just a needle prick away from a new you. Svet's luxury piercing experience covers pretty much your whole ear. Lobes, of course, but helix, conch, these are parts of the ear I didn't even know existed. Well, Svet showed me, and she even recommended some styling tips.
Well, it depends how many piercings you want to get on the earlobe. If it's your first piercing, you want to get one piercing on each earlobe. You can either get pierced with a hoop or a stud. Usually, first piercing, the high percentage will be teenagers or little girls. So obviously they have to follow school rules, so I can't really go with big pieces. We do have a nice selection of first piercings for kids. So they're small, cute little studs. We have collars as well. However, we have elderly women that decided to either get re-pierced after a bad experience when they were young, or they just want to be adventurous and get pierced at a certain age.
Yeah.
So we can go with a bigger piece. You can go straight with a nice large hoop. We can even add a charm on the day of your piercing.
That's what you have, right? And both your lobes, you have in the front, you have two hoops.
My first lobe piercing has hoops at the moment with small charms. But my first lobe was done when I was like 1.5. So, they're healed and I can swap my piercings around. But if you want to get pierced upper lobe or like second, third, fourth on the lobe, we can really go crazy with the choices. We can start with studs on the bottom. We can put a couple of hoops on the top with charms. Really depends what size of hoop we're going to choose. I would say for upper lobe, we go 8, even 6 millimeter for a healed piercing. If it's a fresh piercing, we can do it with an 8 millimeter hoop. And with the labrets, obviously there is no restrictions there. We can do a constellation on the lobe. We can do mismatch ears. We can do colors and, colored stones with diamonds or white sapphires. We can also mix and match rose gold with white gold, yellow gold with white gold. Really depends on the personal style.
Sounds great. Luxury low piercings and a new style for kids, older women, and of course, everyone in between. Just give things about 6 to 8 weeks to heal. Svet will walk you through all the aftercare before you leave with your aftercare package, provided for free with your piercing.
And I know I've researched it enough and seen you say in interviews that just the standard part of the lobe is the most popular place to get pierced, but it's generally has the lowest pain rating, right?
It is. It is slightly lower than the cartilage. And also the most important thing is the healing process is a lot faster. You only need to heal your lobes 6 to 8 weeks. When you compare this with the cartilage, it's 6 to 12 months. But it really depends on how you heal in general. It's a pinch, or it's a sharp sensation, or it's a sensation of pressure. And the feedback I get from customers is always like, oh my God, it was so fast, so quick. I thought it's going to be a long process of like 15 to 20 minutes, which obviously, is good to hear. People have a really old-fashioned idea of how piercings work these days. That's why it's really good, when we talk about process, the piercings these days, how quickly, if it's done professionally, with the proper equipment, with a good standard of hygiene in your piercing area.
Right.
So it's a really enjoyable experience.
And the helix was what I was going to ask you about next. Do you have a helix piercing, or if you can just point to your ear where that is?
I have both of my
that's
helixes.
up. Okay, that's like up at the top.
Yes.
What about that pain rating?
So that will probably be a little bit more painful than the lobe, especially the healing part. So you need to avoid sleeping on the side of your piercing for a few days. It's going to be a bit sore. It will swell up. Lobe wouldn't swell up as much, but cartilage might swell up. And the body will react more to a cartilage piercing than the lobe piercing. So I always explain this to customers who want to get a cartilage piercing, just to know what to expect, because, we're trying to make the experience really enjoyable, and we would like people to come back for multiple piercings. So they have to understand what to expect when they get pierced on the helix.
Right.
It is not your average healing process. You need to clean it. It takes longer. You need to look after it, and obviously to change an earring to like even a shorter bar or to a hoop, it will take a few months.
Right. And what pieces do you recommend for helix? So you have a hoop, right?
I do have a hoop and a stud. I would suggest get pierced with a stud.
Yeah.
And then change it to a hoop. However, you can get pierced with a hoop. But when you sleep on that side, when you move your head, you might pull the hoop. So you need to be a little bit more careful with the healing process with the hoop.
Yeah.
Also, when you move the hoop, imagine like the actual hoop has bacteria on it. So when it moves, you can put bacteria inside the actual piercing.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the bar, the chances are a lot lower,
right,
because it just sits there.
Right. And people leave here with the piercing jewelry they chose in, right? You said you pierce with
we pierce with the actual piece. You do get pierced with 14 karat gold. It will be a diamond piercing or precious stones. And the feedback I have from customers is, when I advise them, you can change your earring after 2 months for the lobe, for instance. If you want to change it to something else, you can after 2 months. However, don't leave your piercing without an earring for 2 years. And they're like, why would I change it? I picked a lovely piece, and that will stay probably forever on my ear.
I was so glad Svet could give me some of her time to learn more about piercings, what to expect, recommendations, healing. all of that. The one thing we didn't have time for was piercing history. Are you wondering, like I was, about how we even got started piercing our ears in the first place? And what do piercings mean to humans around the world? Well, here's some fun facts. Ear piercing can be traced back thousands of years to ancient civilizations. For instance, mummified bodies discovered in ancient Egyptian tombs have revealed evidence of ear piercings, with earrings being worn as a symbol of wealth and status. Symbolic meanings. Ear piercings have often carried symbolic meanings for many cultures worldwide. In some regions of India, ear piercings, particularly for women, are believed to enhance fertility and promote overall well-being. Many Native American tribes, such as the Navajo and Hopi, view ear piercings as an important part of their cultural traditions. Earlobes are pierced as a rite of passage, symbolizing maturity and connection to ancestral heritage. In ancient Rome, ear piercings were associated with wealth and social standing. Roman men and women wore earrings made of gold or precious stones as a sign of their affluence and social status. Earrings were also given as gifts and used as a form of bribery in some cases. Indeed, piercings began in many cultures as specific indicators of societal standing, but there was a revival in the 20th century Western world. In the 1960s and 1970s, piercing became popularized as a form of self-expression and countercultural fashion statement, particularly among the youth. And that kind of brings us to today. Ear piercings are widely accepted for just about everyone, regardless of status, gender, and so on. It's a cool fashion statement for anyone looking to change things up. And I would add that the use of lab-grown diamonds and stones in Svet's Lark Berry piercing experience, it's a milestone, pardon the awful jewelry pun. Because, after all, lab-grown diamonds make it so that the widest audience yet in history now has access to a luxury piercing experience with luxury jewelry. Why? Well, because lab-grown diamonds feature the fairest prices on the market. They're not subject to all the artificial pricing inflation that comes with mining for diamonds and the successive sale of those stones. And that's to say nothing of all the environmental and ethical benefits of lab-grown. Okay, back to Svet and her luxury piercing experience, starting with some tips on what to watch out for in the weeks following your piercing.
So over-cleaning with the product is not ideal. You only need a drop from the lotion, as well as over-touching your piercing.
That's got to be tough to have people, because I'm always touching my face. The face toucher, they call me. No, for real though. Like, people are always obviously reaching up and scratching their hair, touching their ear. Like, do you find that a lot of people complicate their piercings doing that, and you really try to price stress, I'm sure, to not?
Yeah, so when I meet a customer, within like 5-10 minutes I can tell you if they're like touching too much their hair, right, or like their ears, even where they're pointing where they want the piercing to be. Some people, they just go like, just pointing. Some people are like literally grabbing their ear. Mm-hmm. So I know they're gonna grab their ear, and I have to tell them 10 times, make sure you don't touch it. Even recently, like on a fresh piercing, the customer was, oh, it's so nice, and trying to touch it. It's a fresh piercing. You cannot touch it. And it takes me a few minutes to realize if I have to repeat the same thing multiple times to make sure, they don't touch their ear, or they're just like, they're going to be good students from day one. I mean, it's really important not to touch it.
And then I've heard you say that so people are supposed to avoid like swimming pools and maybe swimming in general, but you can swim in the ocean.
Yeah, so avoid a swimming pool for 2 weeks. Obviously, the water there is not as fresh, and there is chlorine involved. Also, don't take a bath because you're soaking in the same water. Anything that is running water or seawater is fine. I
guess sleeping is the tricky one, but generally speaking, obviously you can't help, rolling over a bit in your sleep, but that's okay.
That's okay. That's fine. As I said, healing is so individual. It's so different for everyone. You might stop bleeding 5 minutes after your piercing. You might not bleed at all, which happens all the time. You might not have even 1 drop of blood. So you might start healing straight away.
Yeah.
The healing process starts immediately, however. When you sleep and you pull your ear, it might start bleeding a little bit, but it's something that, I cannot predict. And that's why during the session, I have to explain every possible scenario to the customer to make them understand that nothing is scary. It's a normal healing process.
I sleep upside down for religious reasons.
Okay.
Like a bat.
That's fine for the piercing as well.
Yeah, I wonder if that helped it, like seawater by any chance, or if it was.
I have a cross and some garlic for you, and a lot of daylight.
See, Svet is patient, understanding, sympathetic. She's there to help you find the look you want, and she loves her customers. I'd call her a natural teacher, too. I didn't know what a conch was, much less where it is, so I learned about that and heard some styling tips, too.
For the conch, that's a very similar piercing.
And point that out one more time, if you didn't already, where the conch is.
The conch.
Do you have one?
I have one here.
A piercing?
Yeah. So the conch.
Oh, that's inside?
Yes.
Oh, that's
inside.
like kind of inside your ear canal a bit.
It is.
Yeah.
It's inside. Yes. It's the middle section of your ear.
Yeah.
Inside your ear.
Like right inside the opening, kind of in the middle part of your ear almost.
It looks like that. But we call it conch. However, I had a Canadian customer, very regular one. She called it conch.
Oh.
So.
We don't trust Canadians in the States, so that's what I would say. But
she's lovely. She's a really nice fan of our piercings. She loves that. She has a lot. You can do up to 3 small dots on there, or you can do a snake bite. We do have some lovely small crescents with dangling charms. I did that recently, actually. It's really nice.
And you like the snake bite too, right? That's the 2 dots next to each other.
Yeah, there are 2 dots in a vertical placement. They're really, really cool. But I also, the feedback from customers are like crescents are really popular.
Yeah, it seems to make sense because it's kind of a curved area of the inside of your ear. That's what you have, right? A crescent labret. Yeah.
I kind of feel the crescent it's edgier. It's a different, style. Hoop. When you put a hoop, sometimes it even looks like ear cuff rather than a piercing.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like the stud is more comfortable.
And on pain level, I'm going to guess a higher one with that. That looks
not
like
really as high. Not really, especially I would say it's lower than the helix, and also the healing. I think it's easier to heal a conch than a helix because of where it is on the ear. The only thing is, don't wear earphones for a while.
As we reach the end here, I'm feeling like maybe this all seems a lot, right? Don't wear headphones after your piercing for a while. Stay up on your aftercare. No drinking alcohol the night before your piercing. Don't swim in swimming pools after your piercing, but salt water, like in the ocean, is okay. And what piercing should I get, and how many, and where on my ear? We covered a lot of this here, of course. And I hope you got some great tips, but I just want to remind that Svet is here to guide you through all of this. She's patient and great at what she does. She comes from many years' experience in luxury jewelry and styling, and she wants everyone to know this isn't like a sterile doctor's office visit or, like I said at the top, a routine, uninspiring shopping mall piercing. This is an experience, a luxury experience, with your choice of over 100 fine gold piercings featuring different colors of gold and every color of gemstone imaginable.
The whole experience is to make you feel special on the day, to enjoy it, and not to think of it as something like, a scary experience that will be pain involved and all of that. We just want you to enjoy it and come back for more.
Lark and Berry wants everyone to know about lab-grown or cultured diamonds, the more environmentally responsible option in diamonds. We want everyone to know you have a choice now in buying luxury jewelry, and that there is only one choice that's truly sustainable for the future, and that's cultured fine jewelry, whether it's diamonds, emeralds, sapphires, or recycled gold. Subscribe to the Diamond Disruptor on your chosen platform for podcasts, and please rate and review us. Go to larkandberry.com to see the brand's jewelry and to book a luxury piercing experience with Svet. Follow Lark and Berry on social media at Lark and Berry.